Here in the very beginning, it says, "In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep, and the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters." How interesting is it that when God created something, there was darkness, which is potentially unusual because God is light and in him is no darkness. If you look over here in Isaiah 45, verse 18, "The Lord created the heavens, God himself that formed the earth and made it, he has established it. He created it not in vain." Interestingly, if you look at that word in the Hebrew, in vain, that word is tohu. If you look up where else it has been used in the Bible, you'll find out that it was the exact same word used in Genesis 1:2, that the earth was without form and void. God, when he created the world and there was darkness around it, he chose not to respond to the darkness. He chose not to say, "Wow, this is too dark. Something's not right here." Instead, he said, "Let there be light." And there was light. And God saw the light, that it was good. And he divided the light from the darkness. And so many times in our lives, we might be surrounded by darkness. We might be trying to do something. We might even be trying to create something good. And for some reason, there just appears to be some darkness. Well, we need to follow the example of God here and choose not to think about the darkness, not to be discouraged by the darkness, not to be overpowered by the darkness, because light is always much more powerful than the darkness. And how did God create that light? Well, he spoke it into existence. You know, death and life are in the power of the tongue. And it's so important. If you go to Philippians 4, verse 8, it says, "Whatever things are true, whatever things are honest, whatever things are just, whatever things are pure, whatsoever things are lovely, whatever things are of good report, if there be any virtue and if there be any praise, think on these things." Well, why do we need to think on these things? First of all, you can control what you think. You might have thoughts come your way, but you can control whether you let that thought stay there or whether you choose to think on something else. And that's what we need to do. Think on good things, like God chose not to think about the darkness, not to focus on the darkness, not to complain about the darkness, but instead speak light into existence. What we choose to think about, that is our heart. The thoughts that we think over and over again, what we choose to let into our mind becomes our heart. And Jesus said, out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. So it's important for us to choose what we think about, and it's important for us to choose what we say. Let the things that you choose to say be light and goodness.